You mentioned nutrition there, though, but that's a much harder one to follow in nature's pattern, isn't it? Because we had a haematologist on the show a couple of days ago, and she's promoting the leafy green diet, as we've had other consultants on the programme as well. But equally, I've had people who've advocated a keto diet on the show, and we've had other people, a more general diet. The government tells us to eat 5 a day, fruit and vegetables and that sort of thing. And most people, if they left it to nature, would barely get out of the donut shop.
That's right.
Most people is an exaggeration, but it's not that simple, surely.
Well, it is pretty simple, I think, in terms of eating whole foods, eating organic foods, eating natural foods. If you do that, then you get rid of most of the nutritional issues straight away.
Have we got evidence for that?
Oh yeah, there's loads of evidence. There's all kinds of research studies on organic foods now, which show how eating non-organic foods massively increases inflammatory markers and risk of cancer.
I'm interested to read that because only a few days ago I was reading an article by Ben Goldacre, who of course is he's a medical doctor in medical practice, but he used to write a Guardian column called Bad Science.
Yes.
And he didn't have an opinion about anything other than is the science good enough to back it up. And at that time the evidence for organic food was that it made a lot of money for people selling organic food. But it didn't get you any health benefits over eating non-organic food. Now, that's not to discuss the benefits for the planet or the animals or anything else like that. It was just whether there was evidence for organic food. I'm pleased to hear that there is, because obviously that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, there is. There's lots of evidence, and I think it depends a lot on your interpretation of the evidence, because, of course, there's lots of vested interest in research that shows it doesn't help, because most commercial interests are non-organic. I think the figure is 96% of the world's food consumption is non-organic. So that includes all of your huge conglomerates. And I wouldn't say everything's a conspiracy theory, but nevertheless, what's published is going to be in favour of the people that have the money.
It's no different to the pharmaceutical lobby.
It's the same thing, so there's that element of bias, but there's lots of elements of bias that come in. For example, if you measure nutrient density in organic foods, it really depends when you do it. If you do it off the vine, you'll find a difference. If you do it a week later in a lab, because it hasn't got preservatives on it, it's not going to fare so well alongside the non-organic stuff that's got preservatives sprayed all over it, because the preservatives have actually preserved some of the goodness, but at the cost of providing extra chemicals which are carcinogenic or compromise your hormonal system in some way, and so on and so forth.